Thank you, Suruchi.
Welcome, everyone. Just invite you to settle in as we wait for the others to join us. Maybe a minute or so.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hear you.
Thank you, Jetsunma. We can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Good.
We're
Thank
going
you.
to go.
Thing.
Jetsunma, we're going to go through some housekeeping and introductions, and then we will be introducing you.
Okay, so should I clear off and come back?
As you wish. We won't be long.
Okay, I'll
Just
get it out.
thank you. Thank you, Suruchi.
Namaste, and a very warm welcome to all you Bodhisattvas in training. We have the great privilege today of formalizing our pledge to put others first with our beloved and revered teacher, Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo. As a reminder of our interconnectedness, we are joined today by participants from across the globe, and I'm just told 86 countries. I invite you to tell us where you're from in the chat stream. And a very, very special mention to those of you who have joined us by giving up on your sleep. This is a very momentous event in our lives. So we have participants from Brazil, from Germany, Spain, from UK, more from Brazil, New York, from Brazil, from UK, Sweden, Switzerland, Sri Lanka, Chicago, US, from Singapore. This is so wonderful. Thank you so much, every one of you, for joining us. From Russia, from Chile, Italy, Romania. Wow, this can be a wonderful lesson in geography and interconnectedness. So just to let you know that this event is available on Facebook also. So for those of you who are comfortable with English, we request you to use Facebook as a platform for this event. All of it will be streamed live. We'll be posting that link for you here so you can access it. What this will do is it will enable those who need Spanish and Portuguese to not miss out, because we're already at capacity on the Zoom platform. So I invite Caroline and Alta to please translate this for me so that people know how to access the link. And we'll be putting that link up for you now. Caroline?
Bom dia, pessoal. Então, quem precisa de tradução para o português, pode clicar no botão Interpretação na barra inferior, ou Interpretation, e aí seleciona o canal português. Se vocês estiverem no celular, pode ser que vocês tenham que apertar os 3 pontinhos que tem no canto inferior, e aí vai aparecer a opção Interpretation ou Interpretação. E aí vocês selecionam o português.
Alta?
Buenos días a todos. Para aquellos que necesiten interpretación en español, pueden hacer clic en el botón de Zoom que está abajo en la pantalla donde dice Interpretation o Interpretación. Y para aquellos que estén en un teléfono celular, puede que no vean este botón, pero va a haber 3 puntos suspensivos. Pueden hacer clic en estos y esto los va a redirigir. Pueden escoger español y podrán estar escuchando simultáneamente la traducción al español. Para aquellos que se sientan cómodos con inglés, pueden por favor acceder a el link de YouTube para que puedan dejar a la mayor parte de las personas entrar a este Zoom que necesiten traducción. Gracias.
Thank you so much. Also, please note you may select your translation channel here. So we have Portuguese and Spanish simultaneous translations available from here. So please feel free to join that. Helping us today with the translations are Jean Pili, joining from Brazil for the Portuguese translation, and Patricio Montero, joining from Mexico to do the Spanish translation. Both have translated for Jetsunma many times before, and we are so fortunate to have them. Thank you so much, Jean and Patricio. Also helping in the main room, the translations are Caroline and Alter. Thank you to both of you as well. So when Jetsunma is giving the vow, there will be a section where you will listen to Jetsunma directly, and it's okay to stay in your translation channel for this. You will be able to hear her. And if you have any technical difficulties, I request you to put your questions in the Q&A so that Caroline and Alter can address them. And once again, for those of you who are still joining us, a very warm welcome. And please let us know where you're from in the chat box. We'd love to know how connected we all are. We have participants from over 86 countries. How wonderful to see people from Bulgaria, France, Malaysia, Brazil, Singapore, Australia, South Africa, Colombia, South Korea. Jetsunma, you have a huge following.
I hope the Buddha has a huge following.
Indeed, he does. Okay, some housekeeping rules first before I hand over the formal ceremony. We will be sharing the text which Jetsunma is reading from in the chat. These will be available in 3 languages, so you can access them from the chat box. Jetsunma has already joined us, so now we request you to stop using the chat so that we can use it for sharing links and important documents. And at the end of the session, perhaps we'll come back into chat to express how we feel. Like I said, if you have any technical questions, please put them in the Q&A in English or Portuguese or Spanish. We also invite you to make donations if you haven't already. We thank you for those who have already kindly donated. The link for the donation will also be available in the chat stream. And you can also visit Jetsunma's website, tenzinpalmo.com, and you'll be guided to the donation page from there. I thank you in advance for that. Now I would like to formally invite Jigbe Chödzin to bring in Jetsunma. And as we prepare to welcome her, just a glimpse of how the event will unfold. Jetsunma will give a teaching first and explain to us the concept of the Bodhisattva Vow and what Bodhichitta is. So I now request, and at the end we will have a long life prayer dedication for Jetsunma. So now I invite Jigme Chödzinla to formally welcome Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo. Jigme Chödzinla is a nun from Brazil and currently living in Nepal. Welcome, Jetsunma, and I'll hand over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jetsunma. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Beloved Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, on behalf of all of us here present with open mind heart, we offer to Jetsunma the sincere and most meaningful request. Please listen to us from the bottom of your compassionate heart. We are for so long as wandering beings, being tossed around by the waves of samsara. However, in this very present life, thanks to the gathering of so many rare causes and conditions, we met the Buddha Dharma of the great vehicle. For some of us along the path, we had the merit to meet you. But for others among us, you are the blessed one that turned our minds towards the Dharma. Thus, respectfully rely on you, Jetsunma. We bow down and ask you, please accept our requesting to bestow to us the Bodhisattva vows, so that we can both renew it for those who already enter in the Bodhisattva path, as well as to give the formal first step on it for those who today was born as daughters and sons of the victorious ones. And may we all, by attaining the fruits of sublime bodhicitta, offer the ultimate benefit of to establish all sentient beings in the state of perfect and complete enlightenment. Please, Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, accept our formal, heartfelt requesting. Bestow to us the Bodhisattva vows.
Thank you, Jigme Chisenla. As some of you know, I'm just recovering now from a cold, so I was not sure if today I would even have a voice. So I'm glad if it's a little bit husky, please forgive. So, yes, the Bodhisattva vow. The Bodhisattva vow depends on the aspiration to enlightenment for the sake of all beings, which is called bodhicitta. Bodhi means awakening or enlightenment in English, and citta means the mind-heart, the heart-mind, not just the brain, but our whole mental apparatus, including our emotions and our consciousness. So the bodhicitta is the aspiration, the mind which is set on enlightenment, not just for ourselves, but for all beings. Now, in Buddhism, basically, there are what are called the three scopes or the three spheres of motivation as to why people engage on a spiritual path. You know, why bother to try to be more ethical, to try to be more kind, to meditate, for goodness sake? Why? And there are basically three underlying motivations behind this. The first is because we hope it will make us feel better. It will make our minds more calm, hopefully more happy, that somehow samsara will be more comfortable. And even if in this lifetime not much is benefited, at least we're stocking up good karma for our next lifetime. So we give with the hope that we are making merit, so that if not in this lifetime, in next lifetime, we will get good results come back. We will be born wealthy, we will born in a nice place, or we will go to heaven, or at least we will avoid being reborn in hell. So this is a very important point, because most people, especially in the modern day, when we find out why they are doing courses in meditation or mindfulness, it's because they hope it's going to make them feel better, basically. They've heard that it reduces stress, it can lower your cholesterol, and in general, it will make our minds happier so that we can cope with the stresses and difficulties of daily life. And that's as much as they want, just to feel better and to make samsara, as I say, somehow more livable, more comfortable. And this is fine. I mean, nothing wrong with that. And for most people, even in Buddhist countries, most people are collecting merit and doing retreats with the eye to the fact that next lifetime things will be better if things have been difficult in this lifetime. So that's the underlying motivation. It's just to make life easier. And maybe if our minds are very difficult, to get them into a better condition so that we can live happier lives. But unfortunately, samsara is very unpredictable and it's very insecure. And by its very nature, it is not satisfactory. As the Buddha said, samsara is dukkha. And so therefore, those who look deeper see that endlessly being born, dying, being reborn, redying, being reborn, redying, being reborn, redying, endlessly caught up in the cycle, never knowing whether we're going up or whether we're going down, never knowing what's coming next, and in general, recognizing the enormous insecurity of samsara. People start to think, get me out. If we consider samsara, our life here, as like living in a prison, then if we recognize that we are all trapped in this prison, whether we are living in a penthouse suite or down in the dungeons or somewhere in between, we are in prison. And we might be in the penthouse suite now, but who knows, next time we might be down in the dungeons. We might be in the dungeons and then we get elevated onto a higher level. But the fact is that high or low, wherever we are, laughing or crying, we are in samsara, and samsara is a prison. So then the second motivation, not how to make our prison more comfortable, how to get out of the prison. The prison house of samsara. So this is the second level of motivation. What keeps us trapped in the prison is the belief that we are in a prison to start with. In other words, the belief in a single, unchanging, immutable me at the center of everything, which is saying and doing and thinking and receiving the results of our actions, this sense of I, the ego at the center of it all. That's what keeps us trapped. And our grasping at that identity, thinking this is all happening to me. Once we begin through wisdom and understanding and deepening of our insight into the nature of consciousness, to begin to recognize that since the very beginning, this idea of an immutable, indestructible I at the center of everything has been a tremendous delusion, then we begin to recognize this very deep level of consciousness beyond the sense of I and other. The I separates us from everyone. There's me and then there's you. But our deepest level of consciousness, our Buddha nature, as Buddhists call it, interconnects us with all beings. We're all very interdependent, actually. Where is the separation? The separation is on the level of our conceptual thinking mind, but at the deeper level of our primordial consciousness, there is no sense of separation. There is a sense of tremendous intercommunication with all beings, not just human beings. But in the meantime, if we don't want to go there, the second level of motivation is to realize there has never been a separate ego from the very beginning. If there is no separate ego, then there is no negativities of grasping and defending that ego. So therefore, we enter into another level of consciousness, which in Buddhist terms is called nirvana. And that is a level of beyond thought, literally. The Buddha hardly talked about nirvana. He said, when you get there, you'll know it. In the meantime, anything we say about it, it's not really that, because that is all part of our conceptual language. But he did call it the deathless. He did call it the unborn, and he did call it the unconditioned. And he said, when you realize it, you'll know that there's nothing, that is it. And so the second level of aspiration is to get out of the prison house of samsara. The key is to realize there is no body entrapped in that prison since the very beginning. So then the loss of ego, the entering into nirvana, then what happens next, we don't know, because it's beyond our, scholars can think about it, but actually who knows? But we know it's blissful. The Buddha did say, assure us that it's a state of great bliss and great peace and great liberation. There's a sense of putting down the burden of this egoity, which we've been carrying with us since beginningless time. Suddenly we're relieved. Oh, finally. So then there's a sense of great joy and great open liberality and so forth. So it's a sense of release. We're free. We've opened the prison door. We've got out. Now we're free. Look. But what about all the other people left in the prison house? So then we come to the third level of motivation, which is what we are dealing with now, which is that of bodhicitta. Bodhicitta says, how can I attain liberation just for myself and leave everyone else behind in the prison? I mean, it's very nice, I'm free, but surely the only reason to rejoice in being free is that we now have the ability to free others. One of the traditional examples is of a burning house, that we get out from the burning house, but then all our family and our pet dog are in that house. So could we just walk away? Or would we use the fact that we are out to help pull the others out also? Or perhaps a more clear way is thinking about the swamp. If we're all sinking in a thick, deep swamp, and by making a lot of effort, we finally find ourselves on dry land, so we can pull ourselves out of that swamp, then could we turn around and look at all our family, our mother, father, children, partner, all our friends, all our beloved ones, and say, well, look, folks, I'm so sorry you're drowning in the swamp, but I made efforts and I got out, so let that be a good example to you. So you just keep striving. So, okay, bye now, and leave. How could we do that? What would our freedom be if we know that all these other beings are still drowning? I mean, the whole point of being on dry land would be so that we could give them a hand and pull them out. You know, I mean, what else would there be the point of being on dry land? How could we rejoice if we see everybody else still drowning and not try to help? So even on a practical level, we can see that the idea of just self-liberation doesn't make sense. In fact, just incidentally, today I heard that someone who I had been in contact with for many years, I had never met him. He was Indian, but he lived in Austria. And he had very, very, very deep spiritual experiences. I don't know who his guru was. It was some Hindu guru, but he had very, very profound experiences. But he never shared them with anyone except one scholar who is very deeply involved with Kashmiri Shaivism. And so she wrote to tell me he just died at 50 of a heart attack. And she said, the thing he lacked was bodhicitta. He never used his deep inner spirituality to reach out to try to help others on their spiritual path. And when she said, when I ever suggested he might try to do that, he always said he didn't feel called to do that. But she said that she felt that that was the great lack in his spiritual life, was that he didn't use his very profound realizations to be of benefit to others. So that was the second level of, of attainment. He wasn't somehow ready for the third level, which is that we are practicing in order to be able to be of genuine spiritual benefit to others. I mean, this is very important. So we will deal with that. So there are three ways of dealing with that, or how to be a bodhisattva. So a bodhisattva is a being who is aspiring for enlightenment for the sake of all beings. In Tibetan, it was very interestingly translated as Chanchup Sempa. Chanchup is Bodhi, Sem is Chitta. So Bodhisattva means an enlightened being, a sattva. But Sempa, the Sem bit is a spiritual mind part, but the Pawo, as Chisholm knows very well, means a hero or a warrior, something very heroic. So you're a spiritual warrior. You're a spiritual hero. That's how they translated it. They translated it as an enlightened spiritual hero. Am I still with you? Oh, damn.
Yes, Jetsunma, we can see and hear you.
Oh, good, because I've suddenly gone to me and not to you. Why? Anyway, here we are. So that's the idea, is that the Bodhisattva is something very heroic. I mean, we will deal with this in a minute, but that vow, if you think about it, is literally mind-blowing. I mean, it's beyond thought, quite literally. So there are three kinds of bodhisattva activity. The first is called the leader or the king. In old days, the king led his army into battle. He went first, and then all his troops came after him. He was the leader. So it's like somebody who is the guide, the leader. They go first, everybody else follows them. So you go to enlightenment, and using you as an example, everyone else goes to enlightenment following you. The second is like a boatman, in that a ferryman or anyone in a ship, they are guiding the ship, but nonetheless, they all go together on the ship. You're all together. And there's not that one that goes first and the others follow. Everybody's going together, crossing the ocean of samsara. And the third is a shepherd who leads, who is behind and pushes the sheep first. So the sheep go, and then the shepherd comes after them, and he closes the door behind them, the fence, and he sees that they're all in there. Then he himself enters. So there are these three kinds of ways of looking at it. Either one goes first and others follow, or one all goes together when we go, holding hands. Let's all jump to nirvana together, boom. Or else you can say, well, they heard everyone else first, then at the end they close the door. The problem with that is if too many people choose that mode, then everybody's going to say, no, you have to go first. No, no, you have to go first. No, no, you have to go first. And then I don't know what they do. But anyway, these are the three ideals. The ideal is that everything we do virtuously and every practice that we do is intended to be for the sake of the well-being of everyone, all living beings. The point is, when it says all living beings, it means all living beings. I don't know where you stop. You might get down to microbes. All living beings. Certainly not just human beings. All beings who have consciousness. Where that stops, who knows? We don't know, actually. But anyway, all those beings, we vow to liberate them, however long it takes. So we're dealing with a lot of time and a lot of space, because not just this Earth system, but throughout the universe. I mean, you know, it's quite a commitment. So I think the thing is that in the meantime, we can't do too much to help you sentient beings. We can't even help ourselves. But we can act like an ambassador or a representative. If you think of, you know, the United Nations, then the whole of India, the whole of Australia does not go to the United Nations to represent their country. They send a person, one person, to represent that country. And they speak on behalf of their nation. So that is what we are. We are a representative for all living beings. And when we practice, we are practicing on behalf of all those beings who don't know how to practice. So we're their substitute, right? When we practice, we take all beings with us. This is illustrated, for example, when in the preliminary practices, when we do prostrations, then one has to visualize not only the refuge field and all the lamas and the deities and the protectors and so forth in front of us, but also a huge plain on which all sentient beings are there with us. You know, we can have our mother and our father and our friends close to us, in front of us, those that we do not like, those who have harmed us or we consider to be inimical to us, we put them in front. But basically, vast as we can think of it, are all these beings who are prostrating along with us, and we are their representative, and they're all going down when we go down. In the text, it says that these beings, even the animals and the insects, should be in a human form. But personally, I like to see them as how they are. So you get all the centipedes trying to work out which, you know, of their legs they're going to prostrate first, and the octopuses and the, you know, the rhinoceroses and the elephants and everybody, they're all going down, coming back up again with great devotion. And we are their representative while this is happening, to remember that we are not doing this just for ourselves. We're doing this for all beings. All beings right now don't know how, but we know how. So we are going to do it on their behalf, and at the end, share the merit with them. Likewise, in tantric visualizations, when we see ourselves as a deity, for example, we see ourselves as Tara, then light emanates and all beings become Tara. It's not just I'm Tara and you're just ordinary sentient beings. All beings are Tara. And when we look at them, we see their Tara nature, their inherent Buddha nature there. It's all there. ready to be revealed. So when we take the Bodhisattva vow, we become incipient bodhisattvas, little beginning bodhisattvas. We are not 8th level bodhisattvas. Many of the texts, such as the Bodhicharyavatara, is basically written for high level bodhisattvas. That is not us. But we try. It gives us the example of how a genuine bodhisattva would act spontaneously. And so we, from our own limited level, do the very best we can. I mean, that's the important thing, not to get upset with ourselves if we're not perfect, because if we were perfect, we wouldn't need, we wouldn't need the path. The path is about dealing with obstacles. The path is about dealing with the fact that we are such messed up human beings, but we have aspiration. We have aspirations. And that is the important thing here, that, when we take the Bodhisattva vow, it's like we plant a seed, just a seed. And then we have to water that seed and fertilize that seed until it grows stronger and stronger through lifetime after lifetime. And finally will blossom into a beautiful Bodhi tree. But Bodhi trees take time. They don't get, become Bodhi trees overnight. They take a lot of time, and we have to cultivate them and protect them from animals which might eat them. And we have to be careful of them and cultivate them and protect them so that it will be the opportunity for transformation. Because this is all about transforming our ego-grasping mind, which is always thinking me, 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 even when we are practicing, into thinking of all others and putting others before ourselves, even though we care for ourselves too, because we are also sentient beings, but self and others both together. And especially others, because there's more of them than there is of us. So everywhere we go, when we plant this, seed, which is like, compassion is like a beautiful lotus which grows in the mud. And so we can't expect that from the beginning, we're going to have, overnight, we're going to transform into this selfless, beautiful, other caring being. But gradually, slowly, 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 we begin to see the negativities in our heart. We begin to see the ego grasping in our heart. And then we begin to slowly but surely transform, because our true nature is absolutely beautiful. This is the good news. The good news is that we all have Buddha nature, and that Buddha nature is beautiful. It is not only very wise, but it is very, very good. It is kind, it is compassionate, it is naturally luminous. And that's our true nature there. So what we are trying to do now is to awaken that in us and recognize it. Because this is why we can liberate all beings, because the source of liberation is already within them. It's not that we give them something they don't have. What we're trying to do is help ourselves to recognize, and then help other beings also to recognize what is already within us, but is obscured by our egocentricity. So as our ego grasping begins to thin out and get less, and we think more of others, less about our own comfort and welfare, but more about also helping others and using others to to help us on the path as well as helping others on the path, then gradually the nature of our true being begins to glow within us. We begin to get glimpses of something beyond who we really identify with, something else there, which is fantastic and beyond thought, which is shared with everyone. So therefore, in the meantime, we can try to be helpful and not harm. At least that much. We keep the 5 precepts, which are all about not harming. We don't kill, we don't steal, we don't exploit others sexually. We're very careful in our speech, not only not to lie, but also not to be harsh and hurt people for our speech. And also to keep away from anything which hurts the mind, intoxicants like, you know, alcohol and drugs and so forth, that we try to keep our minds clean and as pure as we can, and to really observe the mind. Observe the mind. What is the mind doing? And when the mind is negative, to change it and to try to really transform from inside, because the mind is king. And we shouldn't be the slaves of our mind. We have to become the masters. And that's what the practice is about. And showing others also how to become the masters of a beautiful mind, which is our birthright, if only we knew it. So therefore, we use the paramita, these qualities of an enlightened being, like generosity, ethical conduct, being very generous and kind, sharing with others, and through making efforts to transform, efforts to really look at our mind and where there's weakness to strengthen it, and where there is negativity to make it more positive, and recognize that those negativities themselves are a means for us to grow strong in turning them into something very positive, and not to give up on ourselves, because our true nature is, as I say, really Buddha. So this nature of the mind is what we're looking for. And the nature of the mind is something which we all share together. And the egos make us look different, but the nature of the mind shows us our true Buddha nature is there and has only to be recognized and discovered. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to recognize our true nature and then share that understanding with others until endless time, until all beings are liberated. And in the meantime, to be nice, to try to be more kind, to be more helpful, to, you know, encourage people. Doesn't mean everybody has to, you know, sit down and start meditating, but at least they can be nice to each other. We can be kind, we can be generous, we can be very patient, we can be just, as His Holiness says, we can develop a good heart. That much. We can all cultivate a good heart. And so therefore, as this vow depends on Shantideva, because this Shantideva, of course, his book, the Bodhisattva Vow, the Way of Bodhisattva is the textbook on how to be a good Bodhisattva. Of course, we have to recognize it was written for monks by a monk. And so in sometimes it's a little bit heavy, shall we say. But his adoration of bodhicitta is unexcelled and really is exquisitely beautiful. I'm sure in the Sanskrit it must be amazing. I'm sorry, I don't read Sanskrit. But anyway, in whatever language, the feeling speaks through it. And so please, all of you should read and study and think about the Bodhisattva of Shantideva, from which this text is taken. So in there it says, and we will recite it later. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, that means the Buddhas here, I summon all beings as guests to the state of Buddhahood, and in the meanwhile, to worldly happiness. In other words, we don't have to wait till we're all Buddhas before we start helping sentient beings, right? I can't help you now because I'm not enlightened. We start from where we are right now. We're cultivating all the qualities of a bodhisattva. And one of the great qualities of the bodhisattva is their kindness, their patience, their generosity, their goodwill, and their immense compassion. So that we start with right now. And with that, we walk the path slowly, slowly, lifetime after lifetime. This is a lifetime's job. It's not just for wimps. This is a very strong commitment. And even though we cannot fulfill all the actions of a bodhisattva in this time, we nonetheless are making the aspiration. That's the important point. So that even though we cannot fulfill all the duties of a bodhisattva, we would like to, we want to, we're walking in that direction. So by taking the Bodhisattva vow, as many times as you can, every day you should recite the basic vow. And whenever, good lamas come into, or any good teachers come in your purview who are giving this vow, then you should make the effort to take it, because it's planting seeds deeper and deeper into the mind stream, so that next lifetime we again meet with the Mahayana doctrine. This is the way to make sure that we do meet with the Mahayana doctrine, and that we meet with teachers who are teaching the Mahayana doctrine. So the one way to do this is to take the Bodhisattva vow again and again and again, and if possible, in the presence of great teachers, so that it makes it very, something very deep. The karma of that is very, very profound. And we don't have to waste lifetime after lifetime wandering around, but that we will very quickly. I mean, for example, in our nunnery, as some of you know, right now we received a group of 7 little ones again from a remote area called Zanskar in Ladakh, and they were supposed to be teenagers. The lama, the monk that was bringing them, said they're all teenagers from the age of 13 to 20. When they turned up, they were 3 to 9, little babies. And but then we thought, how extraordinary, what good karma at such an early age to meet with the Dharma in such a nice environment. The nuns took them all in, looked after them, bought them clothes. We bought them cuddly toys. They are so happy. And when their parents arrived a few weeks later to see them, the children were so proud of their nunnery and showing them around, and hadn't got the slightest interest in going away with the parents. Bye, they waved them and then ran back to all their friends again. So that is because, I mean, it might be horrific for you to think that if you make a bodhisattva vow, you'll get reborn and 3 years old have to go in a monastery. But it does show that if, they obviously had made very deep connection with the Mahayana doctrine in a past life, so that they arrive safely where this is taught. And I remember another group of little ones that we got before, and also very small. And after just a few weeks, somebody said to one of the little ones, well, isn't it nice that you're here in this nunnery now? You can pray for your mommy and daddy. And this little one said, oh no, here we pray for all sentient beings. I thought, well, if she got that, after only being here 3 weeks, that's pretty good. And so, you know, the opportunity to meet with the Dharma as soon as possible in next lifetime comes from, in this lifetime, making very strong aspirations to do so. May I always meet with the Mahayana doctrine in all my lifetimes. Okay. So I think that's about all I want to say on this. Please just recognize we are planting seeds. We are going to now do the best we possibly can, but we recognize we are not 8th level bodhisattvas. So if we fall down, never mind, we pick ourselves up again. The main point is to remember when you practice also that you are practicing on behalf of all beings, and that, you know, that they are also there with you in your heart, even though outwardly sometimes we cannot help, but we can take them into our heart, and that's where they belong. So as I say, this is taken from Shantideva. As Chisholm just said, there are many translations. I think this is basically based on the one from Padmakara, maybe. I looked at so many different translations and got totally confused because they are all saying the same thing in so many different words. And it's very difficult to decide which was best. So any translation you come across that you like better than this one, you can use that one. I mean, it's fine. They're all saying the same thing. So what we will do, I will explain. Yes, it's in Spanish. Good. Is recite together the first 2 verses, which we repeat 3 times, right? This is to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dwelling 3 times in 10 directions. And then there's the next verse, until I attain the essence of enlightenment. So those we recite together in your, you can keep yourself muted. Don't all come together and unmute. But we all recite together. You recite with me, right? We all recite in whatever language. Then we get the part which says, just as the Buddhas of the past aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration. Now I will then, at that point, recite one line and you recite after me, because this is the main vow. Do you understand? The first 2 verses we all recite together 3 times. The next one, just as the Buddhas of the past, I will say that. Then you recite just as the Buddhas of the past. Okay? And then I will say the next line and then you recite it. Maybe somebody, Suruchi, you can unmute. Okay? And recite it so that I get some idea about time. Right, how long it takes for someone to recite that. So just one person, Suruchi, will be on behalf of everybody, okay? So that we recite again 3 times. Now that is the actual vow. And it is saying that just as the Bodhisattvas in the past took this vow, they had this aspiration for enlightenment, and then they trained themselves in the conduct of a bodhisattva and eventually attained Buddhahood. Likewise, I will also take this aspiration for enlightenment and I also will train gradually, step by step, and just as they did, right? So I will train also like a bodhisattva. So we're taking the great bodhisattvas of the past as our example. Just as they took this vow, they started by taking the aspiration for enlightenment. Then they practiced step by step, and then they attained enlightenment. So likewise, I will also do this, right? And then after we've done that 3 times, then we will again recite together just 1 time, having attained a fortunate human existence, etc., etc. Okay, do you understand? So the first 2 verses, we recite together 3 times. The next verse, which is the actual vow, I will recite 1 line, you recite after me, all the way down. Suruchi will be our representative, right? Our ambassador. And then the next, that we recite 3 times. That's the actual vow. So really think what you're saying while you're saying it, because that's the actual vow that's going to plant the seed. And then after that, the follow-up lines from also from the Bodhisattva. And then yeah, so that's it. And then I might do again, I will recite the dedication from the Bodhisattva again. I will just recite it. Okay, so does everybody understand? 2 verses together 3 times, then 1 verse I recite, Suruchi recites, all of you recite with Suruchi, okay? That we do 3 times, and then at the end, just the summing up, which we all recite together 1 time, okay? Everybody got it, I hope. Okay, so we will try. So this first verse, Suruchi, you're unmuted, so we can say it together. I hope you all have the same one. Do you all have the same one?
Yes, we do, Jetsunma.
Because
Yeah.
as I think this is the one I sent to Aileen. I hope. Okay, so please put your hands together. If you want to kneel, you can, but you don't have to. But just the important thing is to think what you're saying. Because it's the thinking and really concentrating on what the meaning of the words, which is going to really plant this germ of the Bodhichitta vow in the mind stream. To all the Buddhas dwelling in 3 times and 10 directions, to the great Bodhisattvas on the 10th level, to the great teachers, the Vajra holders, pray, listen to me. Until I attain the essence of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas, in the holy Dharma, and in the assembly of noble Bodhisattvas. To all the Buddhas dwelling in the 3 times and 10 directions, to the great Bodhisattvas on the 10 levels, to the great teachers, the Vajra holders, please listen to me. Until I attain the essence of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas, in the holy Dharma, and in the assembly of noble Bodhisattvas. To all the Buddhas dwelling in the 3 times and 10 directions, to the great Bodhisattvas on the 10 levels, to the great teachers, the Vajra holders, pray listen to me. Until I attain the essence of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas, in the holy Dharma, and in the assembly of noble Bodhisattvas. Now comes the actual vow. So I will say 1 line, and then Suruchi, please recite after me. Everybody recite with Suruchi. Just as the Buddhas of the past,
Just as the Buddhas of the past
aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration,
aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration,
and gradually progressed through the stages of a Bodhisattva's training.
the stages of a Bodhisattva's training.
Likewise, I shall arouse the aspiration to enlightenment.
Likewise, I shall arouse the aspiration to enlightenment
For the benefit of all beings,
for the benefit of all beings,
and I shall undertake step by step
and I shall undertake step by step
that training of a Bodhisattva.
that training of a Bodhisattva.
And again, just as the Buddhas of the past
just as the Buddhas of the past
aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration
aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration
and gradually progressed through the stages of a Bodhisattva's training.
the stages of a Bodhisattva's training.
Likewise, I shall arouse the aspiration to enlightenment
Likewise, I shall arouse the aspiration to enlightenment
for the benefit of all beings,
for the benefit of all beings.
and I shall undertake step by step
And I shall undertake step by step
that training of a Bodhisattva.
that training of a Bodhisattva.
So the third and last time, just as the Buddhas of the past
Just as the Buddhas of the past
aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration
aroused the Bodhichitta aspiration
and gradually progressed through the stages of a Bodhisattva's training.
the stages of a Bodhisattva's training.
Likewise, I shall arouse the aspiration to enlightenment
Likewise, I shall arouse the aspiration to enlightenment
for the benefit of all beings,
for the benefit of all beings.
and I shall undertake step by step
And I shall undertake step by step
that training of a Bodhisattva.
that training of a Bodhisattva.
Right. So then let's all recite together general rejoicing, right? Having attained a fortunate human existence, now my life has borne fruit. Today I am born into the family of the Buddhas. Now I have become a child of the Buddhas. Now, at all costs, I must act in accord with that family. I must not do anything that will defile this noble and faultless race. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I summon all beings as guests to the state of Buddhahood, and in the meanwhile, to worldly happiness. May celestial beings, asuras, and all others be joyful. May beings never separate from the enlightened mind and always engage in the activities of a bodhisattva. May they be cared for by the Buddhas and give up the actions of Mara. May the bodhisattvas accomplish all they have intended for the sake of beings. Whatever the protectors have intended for them, may sentient beings receive it. May all sentient beings be happy. May all the lower realms be emptied forever. And may the bodhisattvas on the 10 levels have all their wishes fulfilled. May the precious bodhicitta take birth in those in whom it has not taken birth. And where it has taken birth, may it not decline, but grow forever more and more. And here is just a dedication from the Bodhisattva to finish off. May beings everywhere who suffer torment in their minds and bodies have, by virtue of this merit, joy and happiness in boundless measure. As long as they may linger in samsara, may their present joy have no decline, and may they taste of unsurpassed beatitude in constant and unbroken continuity. May the naked now be clothed, and all the hungry eat their fill. May they parched with thirst receive pure waters and delicious drink. May the poor and destitute find wealth, the haggard and careworn joy. May confidence relieve those in despair and bring them steadfastness and every excellence. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. May those who go in dread have no more fear, and may captives be unchained and now set free. May the weak receive their strength, and may living beings help each other in kindness. May all attain the human state and be possessed of wisdom, faith, and love, with perfect livelihood and sustenance, and may they have mindfulness throughout their lives. Thus, by all the merit we have gained, may every being, leaving no one aside, abandon all their evil ways, embracing goodness now and forevermore. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So now all you incipient bodhisattvas, you can all rejoice and go forth to the welfare of gods and men.
Immense gratitude, Jetsunma. Thank you so much. As you had warned, that was really mind-blowing. And thank you really for setting us off on this path to Bodhichitta. And may we have the wisdom and the merit to recognize our true nature. And please be around to guide us all the time. I'll now hand over to Jigme Chudzinla to give a vote of thanks. And that will be followed by long life prayers for you. Jigme Chudzinla will recite this in Portuguese and English. And after that, Altair will read it in Spanish. And we are also lucky to have Chozong, who will recite the English translation that she has so kindly translated for you. Over to you, Jigme Chudzinla.
Thank you so much, Jetsunma Tenzin, for always be so kind and so supremely generous, accepting our requesting and offering rays of blessings through your presence with us. May we, from now on and for all our lives, be propelled and sustained by the blessings and protections of Bodhicitta. May we be able to honor all that you, Jetsunma, resolutely are doing for all sentient beings and for all your students around all the world. So many countries. We deeply aspire that you follow teaching us the excellent path of perfect and complete enlightenment of Mahayana path. Please, Jetsunma, please be with us again and again and always. By the power of your immeasurable compassion and loving kindness, never give up of us and continue to offer to us excellent teachings and precise instructions by your living example. Please, please, accept our most heartfelt thank you so much. And please have always good health and long life. And now we will offer to you, reciting together the long life prayer, first in Tibetan, in which it was originally composed. Om Sote Konchotsawa Tsumke Chingla Ke Dongyo Tempa Mejum Sing Peshi Chonta Pewe Belden Jetsumo Chapeten Ching Trinle Tagesho. Now, the long life in English. glorious, foremost, and holy one, who, through the blessings of the three jewels and the three roots, spreads the amazing teachings of the meaning lineage far and wide across the world. May you live long and may your enlightened activities flourish and increase. Agora, em português. Gloriosa, aquela que é mais importante e sagrada, aquela que, através das bênçãos das três joias e das três raízes, espalha os incríveis ensinamentos da linhagem do significado último, a longas distâncias, de um modo vasto, de um lado ao outro do mundo. Possa você, Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, ter uma longa vida e possam suas atividades iluminadas florescer e aumentar. Now, in Spanish.
Y ahora en español. Por las bendiciones de las tres joyas y las tres raíces, sustentas las maravillosas enseñanzas del significado último y las expandes hasta los confines del mundo. Gloriosa y excelsa Señora, que vivas largo tiempo y que tus actividades despiertas florezcan y se difundan.
The long life prayer that we just heard was composed by the present Kamtra Rinpoche. This year, there's a second long life prayer. It was composed by His Eminence Drukpa Chogon Rinpoche. And he had a dream, Jetsunma, this is how you explained it to me, that he had a dream of you, Jetsunma, welcoming the previous Kamtra Rinpoche, the 8th Kamtra Donjunima, and the Tokdens to Donji Gyatso Ling. And he woke up very inspired and he felt impelled to write this long life prayer for you, for the nuns to be reciting and for all of your students to be reciting. So this is that long life prayer that is a second one now. A Saraswati song of delight for the long life of Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, the foremost mother of all Buddhas, Vajra, swift and noble accomplisher marked with wish-fulfilling wheels, white Tara, she who bestows abundance, the deathless Ushnisha Vijaya, and all supreme long life deities bestow virtue and goodness. You are a field of perfectly pure morality, laden with bountiful fruits of hearing, contemplating, and meditating, who wonderfully brings forth happiness for all in the three worlds. Please remain forever as a spiritual friend at the heart of the practice lineage, utterly stainless and noble vase of sacred lineage teachings, the Drechungpa's lineage of oral instructions, you who heals the weaknesses in the teachings and in beings. Jetsunma Tenzin Palmo, may your lotus feet firmly remain. By the blessings of the infallible truth of the three jewels, Du Solamo, the 5 Tseringma sisters and others, and by the ocean of the Samaya-bound Dharmapalas, may the unfolding of your excellent deeds shine in the 10 directions. May the great nunnery of the ultimate lineage, Donji Gyatso Ling, a deep wellspring of the study and practice of Sutra and Tantra, flourish for as long as the sky remains as a sacred tree of offering for sentient beings throughout the three worlds. Thank you very much, Jetsunma.
Thank you very much, Jetsunma, for translating all that. It's Lama's things are always very, very high. The one thing I didn't say, which I think is very important, is to realize that the sentient beings in this world, all the ones which we love and the ones who are difficult, are all our helpers on the path. The ones that we love and are helpful to us because they give us encouragement, and the ones who are difficult because they are our opportunity to develop all the qualities of patience and compassion, and to perfect our Lojong practices. So we should be grateful to all sentient beings because they are our means for attaining to the Bodhisattva path. I mean, they're not the obstacle, they are the reason why we are able to travel on the path is because of other beings. So we should be grateful to everybody.
Thank you so much, Jetsunma. Thank you, Jigme Jetsunla, for everything. I mean, all the love that emanates through you for Jetsunma is also our collective love for her. So thank you for permitting that. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the translators, Jean and Patricio, technical support, Caroline, Altair, and Monica, and Felipe, assisting Jetsunma always. And last but not the least, Tsuma Aileen Barry for putting this all together. We are so grateful for you for everything that you do, Aileen.
Yeah, from my side, of course, thank you all. You're wonderful. All Suruchi, Aileen, Felipe, everybody who's put this together, Kochik Michutin, and all you wonderful translators. I mean, I think it's extraordinary how you can do it. You know, hear one thing and say another at the same time. Well done. That's real mindfulness for you. So thank you all, and everybody who's participated together. May I truly hope that we meet again in lifetime after lifetime, all together practicing on the Mahayana path. And in the meantime, we should be so grateful that in this lifetime, there are still very, very great masters out there. Isn't that fantastic that we still can meet with genuine bodhisattvas? I mean, not people like me, surrogate bodhisattvas, but the real ones. They're still with us, and that is fantastic. And we are so very, very fortunate. And so we should also pray for the long life and the coming back again and again and again of all the great masters who are still with us in this world at this time. So thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jetsunma. To us, you are Aryatara, and you are a bodhisattva. Thank you so much for showing us the way. Thanks everyone for being here with us. I really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to make a donation, you can find the link in the chat or visit the Jetsunma's website, tenzinpalmo.com. We thank you for your generosity and your time. We wish you all the best on this path. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Good.
Off you go to be bodhisattvas in the world. Let's bring
Thank you,
Jean.
Eileen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of the help in the chat stream. Well done. We also had 300 people on the live stream on Facebook.